Hi, welcome to
Podcast
Podcast Studios and Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Is it Happy
New
Christmas
Year.
or Merry Christmas?
Season's greetings.
Seasonal greetings.
Seasonal greetings,
Right.
dear man.
Who are you?
So, I'm Mrs. Breaker.
And I'm Master Maker.
And this is probably our last show
This is our cup
before
of
the
tea.
Christmas tea.
That's
This is
lovely.
our Christmas
Thank
tea. Thank you. And look what we've got. Cups of tea.
So we've
Very
decided
pretty ones.
to don't.
I want that one.
All right, I'm having that one. Anyway,
Okay.
so what have we been up
So
to?
we've got to bring you a little bit of goodies.
So we've finished off the year now. We've done
Yeah.
our last show for the year, and the
Yeah.
next basically 3 months is going to be making things. It's going to be
Which
really
I've
good.
heard about Master Maker's side project, but more of that later.
Right,
First,
anyway, so
Canine
Children in Need.
Children in Need.
Yeah, we did Children in
Such
Need.
fun.
We were down at the Designer Centre,
Yeah.
Designer Outlet Centre in Swindon, and
With
raising money
loads
for
of other
Children in Need,
Daleks.
and it was brilliant.
Yeah,
So
£2,000 we raised all
Really, really
together
good.
between
So,
a lot of us.
watch
So
this.
Have a look at this.
Right, so when we were at Designer Outlet, there was a little bit of a problem with K9 or K7 of 9. Now, he did struggle a little bit with his batteries, but I've managed to fix that problem now. He's had a bit of an electronics upgrade.
I think he actually did a bit of slimming, ready for Christmas.
Yeah,
That
so
was
anyway,
what
he's been
happened.
all upgraded now, and, well, have a look and you can see what I did. So he's had this massive electronics overhaul, and he's going to be ready to go out for the new year. Right, so here's the drive system on K9. You can see that actually, I'm not going to change this that much because it actually works really, really well. 2 main drive motors at the back, and then of course the single caster at the front. Big batteries at the back. We'll see if we can get bigger batteries in, but I'm not sure that we physically can get bigger batteries in there, but we'll just see. Water system, which is, again, it's really crude, but it works. And then the spray system, which is mounted like that, which then outputs via a solenoid. So when I press a button, we get an effect. So it's looking a bit drastic. So we decided we're going to take K9 out more. He's going to be our charity dog. So he's going to go out to the free events and the charity events. He was built in 2010, I think. So he's an old dog. And it's really, really interesting. You can't see from there on the camera, but I'm looking in here. This is all MDF, which I just don't use anymore now, as we know, we know why we shouldn't use MDF. I've just randomly put speakers in. I got so many speakers in here that maybe I thought at the time adding more speakers would make it louder. Don't work like that. I've learnt a lot in the last 15 years or so. So he is going to have a major makeover. Now, the reason he's going to have an electronics makeover, at the time when I built him, he was done with multiple batteries. So he uses multiple versions of these. They're tiny. And of course, we have one for the 12-volt system, 2 for the 24-volt system, and there's others in there as well. They're all going, and we're going to run them. We're going to bring them all up to date, like the droids and the Daleks and all the other things. 24-volt system, all integrated. So really now, it's a matter of getting the older snippers out and going through and just cutting out all the wiring and start again and rewire. I mean, you could look at it and think, oh, I could just tidy it up. That never works like that. You're better off taking the components out, rewiring it in, using brand new wiring. I know all the things work, like all his servos and external. He's fine externally. Nothing's going to change there. It's just his electronics. Also, we stole the proper speed controller off him for Tiffany, so he's probably due for a better speed controller. So there we have it, K7 of 9 on the operating table, soon to be reborn.
So what's happening with the project on the side?
Oh, you mean my tank?
Tank.
So the tank is it is literally a project on the side, something I've wanted to do for many, many years.
Tank, tank, tank.
But some people don't approve.
Well, I do approve if it's little, but it doesn't
It is
appear to be
little.
that little. And
It's only
also,
going to weigh 100 kilos.
I keep hearing rumours about it's a practice for a bigger project.
It might be. You never know.
No.
Watch this space.
Tank, 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 tank.
The only problem with the tank is we probably couldn't fit it in the space that we've got.
No, tank.
Mind you, we could build a smaller tank.
I'm sure you can't just build big tanks. It's surely illegal somehow. And also, I've been hearing a lot about ammunition. What was all that about?
Well, anyway, I've been doing loads of work on the tank, so the best bet is to just watch this quick video. It's kind of a bit of a summary of what I've done so far, because it is going to take quite a while. This isn't going to be a build like Tiffany or any others, which is going to be finished quickly. Although the aim is to see if I could get it finished for February, because then I'll be able to take it down to the Bovington Tank Museum, because they're doing a show down there of like the model show
The other day,
for the
we
Southwest,
went for a
which is really
drive.
good.
It was about 2 hours long, and it was 1.5 hours of tank and half an hour of tyres. That's what we had from him. So happy Christmas, everyone.
Good morning. We're out here in the other workshop, and you can see what I've been doing. It's not too bad out here this morning. The sun's actually out. It's been raining for about 4 days. So you can see here that I've started to kind of mock up what it is that I'm actually trying to build. Excuse me. I've got a little bit of a frame that I've created, and I've bolted my motors into the frame to see how they're going to sit and what sort of ground clearance I've got. You can see my drive sprocket here. Now the idea is that the drive sprocket will fit on this little spline that comes out from the motor at the moment. It's just kind of resting on the bolt that comes out, which isn't really much good. I'm going to have to find a way to make some sort of sleeve that comes out on this that will then fit on that and that will support this weight, because this is quite weighty. And then obviously over that, you see I've worked on these, cut out all the second teeth, so I've now got a different shape drive socket, and obviously my chain will sit over that like that, and that's how that will move, and that's how that will drive. So that's kind of the drive, not done, but we're a fair way on that one. That sits on there like that. My wheel systems, as you can see here, let's just pop these bits of metal off. So another problem I've got with these now, I've got to work out. This is fixed at the moment, and my problem is, do I put suspension on it or not? Do I make each of these wheels sprung? I'm in two minds about it, I really am. This is only going to move slowly, this build. So, for example, bulldozers don't have suspension on them because they only move very, very slowly. Tanks have suspension, but the only reason they have it is to keep the occupants inside the tank comfortable, and also to keep the gun steady when it's going along at speed. So the question is, do I need to go to all the complexity of adding suspension? I don't know. But whatever I've got to do, I've got to sort out this axle problem, because at the moment my axle has got to be welded into this bar, because as you can see there's too much movement on all that. So I've got to take all this off, weld my axles into the bar. I've got to work out how to do that, because of course I've got no access to it and I can't weld it from the side. I've got to drill holes and weld through the holes and then fill the holes, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, that's the little wheelie system's done. Yeah, so there's a lot to do, months and months and months of work, but also it's all a bit heavy, but I'll work it out. Anyway, this is what I've been doing in the other workshop. This is going to be a problem. Well, there's lots of problems. I say it's going to be a problem, but I like solving problems, so it's not a problem. Well, it is a problem, but I'll solve it. Anyway, the way this works is wheelchair motor is, so basically what you can see here is I've mounted the wheelchair motor into this frame, and let me just take the pin off there. Oh, sure, I could leave that on. So the wheel, normally the wheel will go on a wheelchair motor, goes on kind of like that. It goes onto there. So that whole piece, it's getting a bit heavy already, this thing. That whole piece slides onto this shaft here, and then obviously there's a threaded piece at the end,
and that just locates the wheel on. It keeps the wheel on that shaft, and then there's this little Woodruff key that clicks in there that clearly stops the wheel. It locks the wheel to the shaft, and you can see that it's quite, you can see on the camera, it's quite deep, about 4 or 5 centimeters, and that's what engages. Now, these wheels are rated for 300 kilos on the wheelchair that came off. Now, what that means is that effectively 300 kilos of weight can be placed onto that shaft without it breaking. So there's no way I'm going to 600 kilos of weight is going to be on this. It's just not going to happen. I mean, that's over, it's over half a ton. So my issue is I've got to get this onto there, but there's no way I can just bolt that to that tiny little thread, because the first thing that will happen as soon as it's under pressure, it will snap off. So I've come up with a method. I've made basically this little collet sort of thing, I think they're called, that will just slide on there. So that's kind of been machined. I've just made it out of this, got a bit of tube, hammered it all down, shaped it all down till it was the right shape, and put the slot in it. And that now slides on there. What I should be able to do is I've got to then weld that. I can take this obviously all apart. I'll weld that onto that. So when this then, as you can see there, look, when this goes onto that, it will go on and locate onto the shafts, which means I won't have any issues of it bending there. Obviously the weld is going to be really important. The hardest bit is going to be that I'm going to have to put that on there. This will all be taken apart. That plate will have to go on there, and I'm going to have to then kind of weld it while it's on here. That's going to be quite difficult. The reason I have to weld it while it's on there is because I've got to get it flat. I've got to get it sort of flat, perpendicular, whatever the word is. It can't be at an angle, because if it was at an angle, this is going to move at an angle. So I can't just sort of put it on there like that. So even though that surface there might be machined perfectly flat, and that might be completely flat, the problem is the minute I introduce that to that, and I hold it and then I weld it, the heat will slightly distort the metal, which means that when I then come to put this on, it might not slide on properly. So normally, I would use these kind of batteries. Weight, yes, can be a problem, depends on what you're using them for, but the difference in the cost. 2 of those would cost me 80 quid. 2 of these cost me a lot more than 80 quid. So I think these come in about £170 each. So don't tell me this is breaking yet. So I've just bought these. Live EPO for 22 amp 12 volt, 2.8, 2.5, 2.85. That is the equivalent lead acid. You can see they're exactly the same, 22 amp. So that's the equivalent lead acid. 5.8. So 5.8 kilos for one, and obviously I'm going to do two of these, about 5.7. So 2 of those weigh what 1 of those weighs. Right, so I am mocking up the wiring at the moment. I wanted to test the speed controllers and just test the battery system and the speed control. So as you can see, I've got it set up now. It's kind of all mocked up. I've got breakers here, breaker here. What I'm now going to do is connect the speed controller. See the little fan going around. The radio is there.
Telemetry recovered.
Telemetry recovered, and you can see when I push forward on the stick, we have power.
on then. No, I think that's a bit dangerous.
It will, but
Well, it might stress it out. You don't need to.
no, it will. It's just that the minute I stand in it, I'll end up falling off, won't I? And then the radio will go back on the ground.
Mark.
I can't really.
No. Just, this is how things get broken. That is how things get broken, usually people.